Hello, hello. What is going on, humans? Welcome to Scarlett Show Season 5, Episode 3. Oh, yeah. Episode 3 already? Time flies when you're having fun. So, what was up this weekend? I was off, it's been a long time because I work in a nightclub. So, I actually had the weekend off. I went to LA. It was cool. I went to this club called Rhonda, which is like LA's biggest pansexual party. And I didn't even know until I searched it today. I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. I totally fit in. It was cool to get away from San Diego for a bit. But, you know, every time I go anywhere away from San Diego and I come back, I'm like, oh yeah, this is home. This is where I feel like my best self. But, you know, you gotta get out of your comfort zone sometimes, experience some other things so you can really appreciate where you live and what you have around in your life. So, yeah. That was a little bit of my weekend. I have a lot, there's a lot more, but I want to focus on my guest of the night. I'm really excited. Every time I have a female guest, I just like, my energy is like through the roof. And I just want to give you all the time. So, Kareli, or Miss Kale, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I've been wanting to have you here because I just love your energy. And everywhere that I see you, you just have like this big smile on your face and your fashion and everything. You just like, I love it. So I'm really excited to have you here and learn more about you and your story. So let's get this started. What did you do this weekend? Do you do anything fun?
Yeah. Valentine's Day, Umbrella Friends and I had an event at Kava Lounge. It was so cute, it's disgusting, and all of our DJs going bay to bay. Yeah, it was super fun. It was actually also my first vending gig there too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was made a couple like little jewelry and accessories and whatnot, and was selling them there, and like was just super excited, like something I had been wanting to do for years, and like finally like just decided to bite the bullet, make a couple things, like, just share my art with other people, get it out there.
That's really cool. I also like to do arts and crafts. I used to make my own Rave bras back in the day.
Nice,
so
yeah.
It's cool to also have that creative outlet, like creating accessories, like you said. That's really cool. So do you only vendor or do you DJ too?
I didn't DJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a bunch of different couples. Yeah, it was really cool. We have a new female DJ, Solina, and she made her debut with Barrera, and that was so good. Yeah, it's really awesome, like just seeing more girls like getting comfortable and confident enough to like get on the decks and fucking do the damn thing. It was just so much fun. Sorry.
It's okay. We're getting like really excited here. So yeah, it happens. It's okay. We won't tell FCC that this happened.
Okay.
So tell me about how you start getting involved in the music industry. Was it first through DJing or what did you do first?
I think like when I was like 18 or 19, I went to my first EDC and it was the 20th anniversary. I wasn't too into electronic music back then, but all my friends were, and they were like, just come. And I was like super down for the experience. And then I went and like, I just fell like in love with the energy of it, like the community. Like, I mean, before I was like going to a lot of raves, I was really into like cosplaying and like going to like conventions. And one correlation I found between both of them was that, I could dress up and I could, like not necessarily get into character, but I tried bringing my cosplay background into like the rave. So like,
do it.
Yeah. So my first EDC, I made like all three of my outfits and I dressed as like Raven from Teen Titans and like Keto from Atlantis and Harley Quinn, and like ever since then I was just hooked, and I was like, I just like love making outfits. Like there's so much expression that comes with it, like in how you dress, like how you dance, just all of it, and I just was so immersed in it since then. Yeah,
pretty much. My first rave was a local like underground event here, like called Scream, but my
Okay, so technically my first rave was Sugar.
Oh my god, I used to go to those. Yeah.
At this roller skate rink in National City.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to go to all of those. So those were my first raving experiences. But my first big festival was EDC, and it was just a game changer for me. It was like, what is this world? Like, I've never experienced anything like this. And that definitely pushed me to create my own outfits for like the second EDC and the third EDC. And like, it's like you can express yourself in any different way. That's what I love about this culture. It's like you can do it through like your fashion or your dance moves or whatever you want. So I feel you. You just go down the rabbit hole. You never look back, and here we are.
Yeah, pretty much. After that, I found like I started like just like seeing all these people doing all these things and like everyone just expressing themselves. I was like, hey, I want to express myself like that too. And then like just like looking up to so many different artists. Like I've always been like super into music, like growing up, and like just like all different genres. Like I have a huge appreciation for it all. And then like I just really wanted to translate that into like DJing and music and all that stuff. So I think about like 2 years ago, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I bought a controller and I just kind of started practicing a little bit here and there. But I didn't start really like taking it seriously until like probably like around 8 or 9 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I started like getting just more involved in the community.
So what made you take it more seriously?
Just like my involvement locally. So I like when I turned 21, I started like going into like San Diego nightlife and experiencing that, and like going to like Blonde on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and all the places around here. Yeah. Wednesdays like were what made me like fall in love with it, and like through there I started meeting like a lot of really amazing people, like dancers, DJs, all these people doing it, and I was like,
I want to do it too.
Yeah, and then what's so amazing about it too is that the whole community is just so welcoming and supportive of everyone doing. Like,
that's why I'm doing this show.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, I just had a lot of really amazing like outlets to practice and figure it out, and like just start getting like inspired, and so just started doing that. And then like I'd say like my like the big shift in it all when it did like a complete 180 was like almost this time last year. Went to a desert party and I met Tom. Shout out Tom Curly Fry. We met in the desert. He was like, hey, have you heard of Afternoon Umbrella Friends? And I was like, kind of. I think I saw something on Facebook. He's like, oh, hey, like, we're doing an event. You should come. Like we're all going to be at Desert Hearts and whatnot. And then I went to my first Umbrella event. And then like since then, I'm literally, it's history. The rest is history.
All right. So what are some of the steps that you take to prepare for a gig?
So let's like, usually I'll try and like fit whatever atmosphere or like whatever vibe like I've come to know through going to those certain kind of events. And then from there I'm like, like what kind of emotion do I want to provoke with my set? What vibe am I trying to put out there? What part of myself am I trying to showcase, and share with others? And then from there, I'll just kind of start like diving into music, like digging through different music websites, and just getting inspiration, like feeling it out, like finding things that really speak to me, And then I think one of the biggest thing for me is like the mental preparation of it. Like I like to have that time to like set aside and like be with myself and reaffirm myself, like, hey, like you can get those like jitters sometimes, or you worry about things, and I'm like, there's nothing to worry about. I'm like, if I mess up, I mess up, and it's okay. I gotta accept that. And like just being my most authentic self, because however you're feeling, like what you're putting into your craft is gonna be translated into the crowd. So you want to make sure, like, hey, like I'm feeling good, and y'all are gonna feel good, and we're all gonna feel good together.
Definitely. I'm sorry, I'm getting some messages that the audio is not working for the live stream, so I don't know what's going on. Sorry, people. I'll try to figure that out once we go on the music break. So I'm like reading all this messages, but I can also edit it like later on. I don't know what's going on, but what can we expect in the first half of the mix?
So the first half is more of like my like the groovy Kale side. I like one genre that like just like I'm super like into and like has been like really like big and inspirational for me is like like really groovy deep house, like just like those danceable bass lines, like really chill. Like I tried to keep this one a little more chill, to fit like Thursday night radio vibes, but just like expect some like nice relaxing groovers that still like get you in that feel. Yeah.
I think we're ready for some nice relaxing groovers. So we'll be back in 10 minutes to continue the interview, and I'll try to figure out the live stream situation, y'all. I hear you. And you're listening to KCR College Radio, the award-winning sound of state. See, you can also use my voice for samples, people. Yo, what is up? Welcome back. Thank you for everyone that was telling me about the audio. I appreciate it. It sounds better now. I figured out the issue. Thank you so much. You guys are the realists, and I know you're actually watching the show. So, hey. So, before we go on the interview, I gotta make some announcements for KCR. Are you a fan of podcasts? Make sure to tune in on KCR On Demand, the newest platform of entertainment from your radio hosts here at SDSU. Find us on Apple Podcasts and on KCR Colors Radio, SoundCloud, and yeah, I think they also have a Twitter. And also, do you have plans this weekend? Check out the House of Blues in downtown San Diego for some amazing concerts in one beautiful venue. Make sure to check out our giveaways on kcrlive.com for a chance to win tickets to concerts throughout the semester. And stop at Music at the Mesa from 12 to 1 on Thursdays for more giveaway opportunities. Lastly, I'm beyond excited to announce that I'll be uniting forces with 3 amazing women in the industry to put together Transcend, San Diego's newest house and techno night dedicated to highlight female talent. So join us Sunday, March 1st at Blonde Bar for Residence Night featuring Scar, aka me, Melanie, Laura Peck, and Sierra B. Oh yeah. Tickets are only $5, y'all, okay? If you can afford to pay other things, other things, you know what I'm talking about? You can afford to come support your local baddies, okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So, back to Kale.
Hello, hello.
What does being a DJ mean to you?
Ooh. I guess to me, it's showing a part of yourself like through sound and sound that you feel connected to, and pretty much like sharing a part of yourself with other people that you may not be able to share otherwise with words, and you know, like like body language and stuff and all that good stuff. And
I agree, because I think like your music taste can be a little personal too.
Yeah, for sure.
People can judge you from what you like or how your stage presence, like all these things. So it's definitely like a vulnerable space.
Oh also. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you know, and you know, you want to every time, like for example, like, you know, either like playing a show or like just playing by yourself, like you're like giving a piece of yourself and really like tuning energy into this like into your flow state, you know. And
flow
it's like,
state.
It's a really beautiful thing once you're like able to play a show and be like comfortable behind the decks. Cause it took me a while too. And it was like just pretty recent for me now. But I feel for me, it's always been an outlet to like express myself, and like share that love for music. And, you know, it is a really vulnerable thing. You don't like, you may like something, but you don't know if someone else is going to like something. And it's kind of like taking those risks and accepting like, hey, you know, like you might not like this, but I like it, and I hope some of you do, you know, like whoever's receptive to it, it's like we're on that, like, we're on the same wavelength. Yeah.
I love that. So how do you handle mistakes during your performances?
Keep moving on. That's honestly all you can do. Like, I was really, really anxious about that. Like, for my first show, I was like, oh my God, this sounds so bad. I'm messing up so much, like all these things. And then, like, you got to talk yourself, like, you got to, like, remind yourself, like, hey, like, let me step away from these thoughts for a little bit and accept that, you know, like I may have made a mistake because, you know, like things happen, you know, sometimes like we're all human.
Exactly.
And the best way to get over something is by doing it a lot. So I feel like, you know, like I was like, okay, like my first set, I like played with like a mixer that I hadn't used before, and everything was like a couple things were in different spots. And like, it was just like, you know, like I was just like in my head, I was like, oh my God, am I beat matching right? Like all these things, you know? But then after that, like I felt like it was like a lot smooth sailing, because it was like, you know, like everything that I was worried about happened, and then I was fine.
Yeah.
And
you survived.
Yeah. And that's the best way to learn, you know? And like, I see every mistake, you know, as like, okay, like I tried to do something and it didn't work out, and that's okay, because now I know that, now I know what I can fix and how I can keep moving forward, you know? So it's like, you know, that's the best way to get over them, is just by making mistakes and forgiving yourself, be like understanding, you know?
I agree. So how did you come up with your Kale character? Like, what's the story behind Kale?
So I dyed my hair about 3 years ago. I've also been vegan for 5 years, so like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying
to go that route. So.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend told me, he's like, you know, like after about 5 years, you know, your body basically is like, has become whatever you've been consuming. So, you know, like I've been eating kale for about 5 years, so I basically am a piece of kale at this point. But yeah, I dyed my hair about 3 years ago. My friend, like my friend was just like giving me a bunch of nicknames. She's like, oh, like, I think like one of them was like Saria from Zelda, and then like, you know, just like I ate a bunch of kale, so she's like, oh, you're a little kale leaf, and then I was like, hey, I like that, and then just started calling me Kale, and like that just kind of became like my nickname, like over time, you know, like my.
And it also resonates with your regular name, like really Kale.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like my name too. So like it matched up pretty well, and then like green's obviously my favorite color, if you didn't know.
Oh yeah, what's up with your fascination with frogs?
Oh my god. I think I have my little toad on right now. I got my little toad earring on. I just love frogs. Like, there's really nothing to do about them. I just like, they have such a quirky character. Like, I just love all animals, but like frogs in particular, you know, like been following a lot of frog meme pages, and like they just show up. So I'm like,
oh yeah, just I was like, looking at your profile. I'm like, all these frogs,
just all frogs. yeah, pretty much.
I love that. You stay true to yourself, you know? Like, some people like cats, some people like frogs. Yeah. You just gotta roll with it.
Frog girl. Frog girl energy.
I love it. Okay, so I want to touch on this subject because it's really important. And I know that you had to overcome a lot of personal barriers with social anxiety to be involved in this community. What helped you get through that?
Just like it was a lot of like push on my part, you know, like I typically tend to stay like a little closed off, like when it comes to like talking about those sort of things. But when I feel comfortable and, you know, like I'm like open to talking about it, like I think it's really important to bring up those kind of things, you know, because that's how you get over it, by talking about it, you know. And
we don't really talk about it in this industry that much.
You know, like usually when we're out and about, you know, like at an event, you know, everyone's like in a really good mood. It's like super high vibes. Like, you know, like everyone's like, oh, hey, how are you? You know, instant response. Like typically for me, it's like, oh, I'm good. Good to see you. You know, like I want to be positive. Like I want to be happy. And usually in that moment, like I'm feeling pretty happy, you know, but sometimes like you don't know what that person was dealing with just an hour before going there, you know? And like, it's I guess the best way I got over it was like just getting like putting myself in those situations that made me feel uncomfortable and embracing
your
it.
Comfort zone.
That's
the key.
Yeah, you gotta really embrace discomfort and like feel through those emotions. Like I started like, you know, like one thing that can come with social anxiety is like, oh, you know, like, well, maybe just like a drink or like a smoke to take the edge off. Mm-hmm. And then when you're constantly in this environment and surrounding yourself with that like substances and like alcohol and all that good, like stuff, you know, it's so accessible that you're like, okay, why not? And, you know, that can just like, if you're like, it can just become so constant and you don't even notice it.
Yeah. And, you know, speaking of that, you know, this industry or this lifestyle isn't for everyone because some people may be in it for the wrong reasons, or maybe they don't know how to find that balance. And they usually find themselves burned out or needing to take a break from the community. How do you think people can have a sustainable career in this industry?
Touching base a little more on like the social anxiety thing, I think what really helped me in overcoming it was going out and doing all these things that I usually do, but like just sober. You know, like I would go out, I would go out dancing, and like, you know, it's like once you get past that initial fear, like of like, oh, you know, I feel kind of weird, or like even like going out to shows by yourself, you know, like doing all those things, going out to shows by myself, like, and just like dancing and having the best time, you know, those were some of like, you know, it's just like, it's such a good release. But I think like, you know, to keep it sustainable is to like be mindful, be kind to yourself, give yourself rest when needed, you know, like if you're feeling tired, like go home. Like really, like, and you know, it's hard to do that sometimes because you're like, oh, I want to hang out with people, like I don't want FOMO, and then next thing you know, it's like a day later, you haven't slept, you know, you're still like hanging out and whatnot, which is like, you know, like can lead to some of the most amazing nights, but you gotta like still take that time to tune into yourself and recharge. And like, you know, when you're around so much different energy and like, you know, like if you're more susceptible, I can't think of that.
If you're more, I don't even know how to say that word.
If if you just like are more sensitive to energies or more empathetic towards other people, you know, you're gonna start like taking in all that stuff. Sometimes you can like forget what your own energy is like.
Oh my
God.
God.
And it can even like doesn't have to be like negative energy all the time, you know, like you can take in like positivity, and then when you come home you're like, why am I still so sad? It's like, oh, you know, because I was like feeding off all these good vibes, but you know, I like gotta organically produce some of them too.
Yeah, pretty much. Look, I'm the type of person that likes to hang out like in the sidelines in the back when it's super crowded. You know, sometimes at spin it just gets super crowded, or like just any space, I just get like so overwhelmed, and I'm like, I need to just like chill. And me working in a nightclub, I absorb people's energies all night. Sometimes people are like, what are you doing after? I'm going to sleep because I need to recharge. And people they're always so marveled that I work sober in a nightclub, and I couldn't imagine like being drunk or high or whatever every night. I work 4 nights at Riches, so for me to make it sustainable, I have to get enough sleep. I have to be sober. You know, I have to like replenish my energy. And I think not a lot of people think of those things. People think just because you're working in a fun environment, you're partying, but no, it's also like a job. Same with like when I have a DJ gig or when I do whatever else.
It's all work. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed when I started DJing and getting more involved like behind the scenes at events, I feel like I had to like, you know, be more mindful of my own like body and mind. You know, like understanding like, okay, you know, I'm gonna call it a night early. You know, like I've been setting up like all day. I've been here, you know, like basically working, and like literally working.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like that takes a lot of like physical energy out of you. You know, like it's like it's still a lot of fun, but like at the end of the day, you know, you're putting in work, like you're making sure things run smoothly and all that good stuff. So yeah, like taking that like personal like recharge time, like reflections, you know.
How do you replenish your energy?
I like hanging out by myself. Yeah.
Me
like
too.
I love hanging out with myself.
Me too. Like, oh my God, that's big for me.
Yeah.
I would go to late shows by myself. I've been on trips by myself. It's just so needed. And you have to be comfortable with doing things by yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they just can't. They're like, oh, I can't go to the movies by myself or go out to by myself. It feels weird. But I think it's so necessary. I'm an only child. Maybe that's another reason why I love being by myself. I love being by myself, you know. But I'm an extrovert, but I also need to recharge. And having that space where I'm just like in a quiet, just by myself or in the park or whatever, it just makes me feel so good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like even sometimes too at events, like being introverted. I'm like an introverted extrovert, I'd say. Yeah, like I love like meeting people and hanging out with people, but like if I'm feeling like sometimes I need to step away, take some recharge time, and then I'm like back and ready to go. But like, you know, a lot of like personal time, like, you know, like yoga, like taking time to exercise, like just moving your body, like
yes. I go to Zumba classes or
nice.
Yeah, it's really fun, or any type of dance classes. That's usually what gets me going.
Yeah, just like, you know, just hanging out in my room, like just enjoying myself, like embracing stillness, and like, you know, like
it's a balance. It's a balance.
Yeah, like taking like mini detoxes from like dopamine, like, you know, like we're always like on social media and so many different things all the time. We're getting so much like information input into us, and like we're always stimulated, you know.
Yes.
So when you like have like, you know, like when you take that time away just to like disconnect from everything and like, you know, like meditate or journal or like anything where you're like kind of tuning in with yourself and doing your own personal work, you know, like it's really important, because then like it just helps you grow in whatever aspects of life, and it helps you kind of keep that like work fun balance. Yeah
it's all about balance, and I think that's probably one of the main ways to make this sustainable. You gotta prioritize, definitely like your mental health should be first.
And so, I'm the kind of person like I want to support all the homies, I want to go out to like all the shows, you know, and like, but sometimes like it's like, hey, you know, I gotta support myself first. Like I'm supporting you on the sidelines.
Support myself.
I'm like sending you all the good luck, you know. And like
I feel you.
Yeah.
And for me, it's even worse because like I work weekends, so I mean it's my job. I can't really be asking for so many days off. And even though I want to go to all y'all events, but it's like I'm always like, oh, I'm working. I'm sorry, but you know, sometimes you gotta put yourself first. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to talk about being a woman in this industry. Oh my God, I feel like there's just so much to say. But what is your opinion on the representation of women? Do you think we're progressing? Do you think we're going the right way? Or is there a lot more work to do?
I think there's always room to grow in every situation. And I think where it's headed right now is pretty good. And the way I see it is like, are like, do women feel comfortable coming out here and, like making a name for themselves and showcasing their talents, which I see a lot, I like in our community, like I'll see like more, I have girls reach out to me, like, oh, hey, like I want to start DJing too, things like that. And like, it's super supportive. And that's really how it started for me, like feeling inspired by seeing other women, and like seeing how they present themselves and how powerful they are, like I'm super grateful to be like surrounded by so many like amazing, like creative, talented women. And that's like been literally like one of the biggest game changers for me, because I mean, like, I'd say I was a little nervous when I first started out. I'm not like, I wouldn't really reach out. Like I was a little like anxious to be like, oh, hey, want to play shows. And like, that's just not really how I roll. I just kind of like, be myself. And like, if opportunity comes, like,
same.
Yeah.
You kind of just go with the flow and let opportunities come to you.
Yeah. But I mean, like, for example, like, you're DJing too. And that's super awesome. Lilo is really big in helping me like find that encouragement. And like, one thing that we really stand by is like taking up space and like, just being like super confident in yourself and like understanding like, hey, my voice deserves to be heard just as much as anyone else's, like regardless of gender, like, like it's just like, it's like we have something to say. And there's just something really awesome too when you see like female energy on the decks, just like in general, it's just like there's just something so different about that you can just feel it in the air. And like, it's just so incredible to see. Yeah.
So you say you've had a lot of support from other women in the scene.
Oh yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really like awesome females that have been out there, like just like super supportive.
So what do you think is the biggest barrier for women to take DJing seriously?
I mean,
it could be like a combination of things, right? Like maybe, well, I'll let you answer.
I like the DJ community is pretty saturated with men, with women as well, but you typically see a lot more men on the stage, and that's like, I don't think it has to play with that, like, they're not giving women an opportunity. It's just that there's, women are still growing and they're still beginning to make a name for themselves. So like, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, no, yeah. So I think so many times we blame the industry, but it's also up to us to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do it and I'm just gonna go for it. And I think it's giving women that confidence to just try it out and go for it.
Yeah, because when you see other people doing it, it reminds you that you can do anything you want to set your mind to as well.
You can do it too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, we want to keep growing and feeling like we have those spaces, then like it, like, we gotta like be that figure that we want to see in those communities, like we have this platform to inspire others. Yeah. And, it's like, I take that role really seriously, like, and like,
yeah, me too.
Try and spread that as much as I can.
Spread the love. Yeah. So what are some of the difficulties you've faced in your career?
It's like definitely finding the balance. Yeah. I'd say finding the balance, when you're like playing shows more often and like still trying to like, do your own thing and like, have time for yourself. Like whenever I'm playing a show, I'm like, I get super excited about this. So I'm like always looking for music, you know, and like even overcoming like creative blocks, like especially too as an artist, like in every single aspect, like, like I'm the type of person, like I used to be like the type of person, like I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not feeling too great today, so I'm just gonna relax, like it's okay, like I'll take some time away from art, and then it'll be like 1 week or like 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh snap, I haven't like picked up whatever tool to the trade. Yeah. And well, it is important to have those breaks to like, because then sometimes you come back and you feel like inspired in new different ways. It's like allowing yourself to like push past those creative blocks and like find what like just brain fart. But just like, you know, just keep going and like give yourself breathing room.
Yeah, it can be a lot sometimes. And actually, like, I want to congratulate you on the amazing job you did for Umbrellavation.
Oh,
I know you were in charge of like keeping in touch with collaborators, reaching out to your friends, promoting, just putting the show together. And I know what that's like. I mean, I do everything for this show. Like, I'm a one-woman show. I do my graphics, my filming, my everything. Nice. So it can be possible. Women can do it. You can make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely like having the balance too, like with doing other things as well, you know, like was like trying to put on Umbrellavation and then also like trying to prepare for other like just other things and like, you know, like still having time to do whatever else I need to do, you know, all these things like time management's really important, which is something that I've been trying like super hard to work on. And, you know, like I guess just like one thing that has helped me too is like, you know, continuing to like keep exploring within it, you know. I guess one thing that I like kind of struggle with too is like when I first started out, I like didn't know if I wanted to like have a certain sound, you know, like a couple people like had given me advice that like, you know, I should stick to one sound and roll with it, and you know, that'll like establish who I am and like all these things, which I've done in a certain way, you know, like I really like you know, like that groovy deep house sound that like sounds like it sounds like elevator music to me. Okay. So I just call it like there's just a certain like kind of house that like just reminds me of elevator music. So like I just like was really like building on that and like really building a library. And then I felt a little blocked and I was like, what's going on, you know, like, and then I was like, you know, I just kind of need to like keep exploring and like diving into other things. And like I just kind of came to realize like I don't want to be stuck to any genre. Like I don't want to put myself in a box, because as soon as you start putting yourself in a box, you know, I feel like you're just stuck in that.
Yeah. And I feel you. I mean, I'm down for anything dark. So nice. I usually like any dark sound, even if it's like bass house or dark techno or whatever. So I don't know if I would get out of that box. I really like the dark stuff, but it's good to like also try different things in different genres. I mean, I love everything from psytrance to dubstep to everything. So it's cool to explore. Yeah. Okay, so what are your thoughts on San Diego's electronic music scene? You can start with some positives and maybe something it's improvement.
I'd say one of the positives is definitely like how much is going on, you know? There's so many different like communities and collectives, like especially like in house and techno, you know, that like are just doing so many different things and like always like, you know, stepping up their game and doing all these things. So it keeps it like really fun, challenging, exciting, you know? There's like always something to do and something different to do, you know? Yeah. So I think it's like really amazing how diverse this community is, you know? Like we're honestly like incredibly grateful to like have what we have, you know?
Yeah, we rock.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
We're the best.
Yeah, so that's definitely a positive. I'd say one thing, like it doesn't feel like we have a lot of venues, which I know can be like, like more venues would be like really, really awesome. But I know that comes with a lot of things, you know, like it takes money and it takes a growing community and like, you know, different people like starting different things. But I have seen like a grow in certain areas. One place, like, so I was born and raised in Chula Vista and I've been there like my whole life. I've seen it like grow from the ground up. And one really amazing thing that is going on right now is, you know, like the growth of this, like the electronic and like, you know, that scene like growing in Chula, which is absolutely incredible, you know, because like it makes me excited because, you know, it may like when you think about future generations that are going to be in there like growing up, you know, like they're gonna
have that sound.
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot more opportunity to be exposed to that at a way younger age. And then when you have that like connection to home, like to your hometown, like that's it just beautiful. Like it's like it makes me like feel super proud to see like so many like Chula Vista based people coming out and like doing really cool things.
Chula Vista, baby. I need to bring that sound to City Heights. All right, so it's time for the human experience section where I'm gonna ask you more about your mind and everything like that. Super cool stuff. So what would you like to be remembered for? That's
a good one. I really want to inspire others, you know, to be their most authentic selves. So, like, want to leave behind, like, just, you know, good energy, like a good, like, just, you know, remind people that, you know, it's okay to be yourself and it's okay to not have it figured out, you know? Yeah. No one really has it figured out. Just reminding people that, like, you can overcome anything and you can really do whatever you want to do if you believe it. Like, if you instill that, like, into yourself and remind yourself, like, that you can do it, like, it really is possible, you know? And just, like, yeah, like,
awesome. Yeah. So, what's the best decision you've ever made?
Oh. I guess, like, if I'm, like, dating back to, like, back then, like, the first time I ever listened to Lady Gaga was, like, one of the first times I ever, like, heard, like, electronic music, like, in the pop scene, you know? That was when, like, Black Eyed Peas had just released their, like, electronic album, and Gaga was just, like, like, Gaga was just doing her thing, and, like, she inspired the heck out of me. Like, she still does to this day, and she's just has been, like, the most powerful role model, like, growing up as, like, a lost little weird teenager who wanted to wear purple lipstick and, like, you know, just being weird.
I saw your pictures, girl. You used to be a scene kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
Me too.
Oh my gosh.
I used to have crazy hair. I've always been a weirdo, and I'm proud of it because it made me what I am today.
Exactly. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah.
All right. So unfortunately, as much as I would like to keep asking you these questions, we're running out of time. But there's one more thing to do, and it's the Scarlet Letter. You're gonna pick up an envelope and open it, and answer the question. Dun, 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 dun.
What is the number one change you need to make in your life this year?
That's deep.
Oh. Damn. I'm like, okay, so I guess the one change I need to make in my life this year is, like, I really want to develop, like, good time management in terms of, like, creating, like, my own, like, personal, like, I guess rituals, you could say, or, like, habits.
Yeah.
So, like, really,
good
like,
habits.
Yeah, developing good habits. You know, like, finding balance for different things, because I feel like when I have so much on my plate, I get pretty overwhelmed, and then I just, like, shut down, and I'm like, oh my god, I have too much to do. Okay, I'm just gonna, like, oh my gosh, like, yeah. And so, you know, like, I feel like developing a routine, you know, like, I have, like, one that I do in the morning, you know, but I want to, like, really translate it to, like, my day-to-day life, you know, and have a routine that's still flexible, so I can still, like, enjoy myself and do my thing, but, like, just really, like, so I can do all the things that I want to do.
Do all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get it, girl. Like, we're all learning.
Yeah.
And it's a good process, and I see that you have this beautiful energy, and you're gonna do great things. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Happy to have you here. I honestly, like, wish we had more time, because we have just so much to say, you know, like, you and I can probably talk for the whole night.
Yeah.
But it's time to get back to your mix, because, you know, we want to hear your music, and we'll be back in less than 10 minutes to wrap up this interview. We'll see you guys in a bit. What's up? So, Miss Kale, do you have any upcoming events?
I do. Tonight I'm playing with Toka, hey. My other green-haired DJ friend. We're gonna be playing at Kava Lounge for Acid Varsity. We're gonna be doing some. It's gonna be a hybrid set, so we're gonna be playing, like, live, like, 303 sounds on, like, a Roland,
yes.
And then, like, going back to back and whatnot. And then next weekend we're also going back to back for No Expectations Fight Club. It's gonna be yeah, it's gonna be, like, in an actual MMA gym, so it's gonna be, like, 360 view in the rink. So I'm super excited for.
So cool.
Yeah, we're gonna be switching it up a lot with this one, and, like, both playing, like, things that we like have been exploring, like, for this event, like just bringing a completely different sound. Just super excited to, like No Expectations. Yeah. come in with no expectations. Like, come check it out. I'm really, really stoked for that one. Yeah, those guys are super awesome. And then
Umbrella Weekend, right?
Yeah, and then Umbrella Weekend, yeah. So Umbrella Weekend is March 13th to 15th. I'll be playing on Saturday. Super, super excited. I'm also helping out with all the other things, like all the fun stuff. So we're putting on like a couple activities. I'm gonna be having workshops and yoga and all that good stuff. Bringing the wellness to the weekend out in the desert.
Bringing the wellness to the weekend.
Yes, yes.
So what does the future hold for Kale?
For Kale, one big thing that I'm gonna be putting a lot more focus into coming up is continuing to work on my little business, making jewelry and whatnot. It's called Absinthe, little green fairy. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So it's me, I'm the green fairy. Yeah. And then gonna start diving into production a lot more. Really want to learn that side of things. Working with Ableton, just figuring out music composition and doing that. Something I've been wanting to do for the longest time.
Awesome.
Now that I'm like got like a foot in with DJing and I kind of understand the basics of it, I'm like, okay, you know, I kind of know what where I want to go and like how I want to explore this kind of thing. So just super excited to learn more about that side of the stuff.
That's exciting. Yeah. I don't think I could get into producing, to be honest. I already have so much going on, but I respect that. It takes like a little time and to fine tune the craft, but I'm sure you're gonna do amazing.
And like with everything that I've done, you know, it's been a pretty slow process. Like I started really like envisioning it or like trying to manifest things like way back when, you know, things take a couple years, and like you gotta be patient. You gotta understand, like don't force it. Like allow yourself to flow with the journey and
and you gotta love it too. You gotta be passionate or else you're not gonna have a good time. That's for sure.
Gotta have fun with it.
So thank you so much for being here once again. It's been awesome. And thanks to everyone that watched the show or is currently listening. I'll be uploading the interview and the full show on YouTube. You can search me as Scarlett Letter Show. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want. Say hi. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.